Wake up.
You want to write something to Dad? Why don't you write something to Dad or write about your experience right now? Just gonna start talking.
Today was a really wonderful day. Period.
Okay, walk.
Morning.
You're gonna watch me film a speech today.
I need my phone.
Take my laptop off and Hey! There you go.
5-second rule.
It's very important to note that up until a few years ago, Daniel really didn't know he had a disability. We did everything together, very inclusive.
There's photos of us growing up, and we live up the mountains, and there's a mudslide. And I'm 10, Kiara and Danny are around 7, and we're pulling Danny up with a rope. He's in a yellow jacket up the mudslide. Everything that we've done, Danny does.
He orders his own ride.
Order my own ride to school.
So he schedules a ride, and then sometimes we walk right there.
Call
It comes
Ben.
from outreach.
He was never supposed to be able to be out of a fetal position. We wouldn't accept that. The use of his hands were not going to happen. We were not able to accept that.
Call Ben.
Calling Ben.
Hey Ben, I'm leaving the apartment right now. I'll be at West Valley soon. I'm on the freeway. Alright, bye. I usually let them know that I'm coming.
Definitely Daniel's strengths are his communication skills and his interpersonal skills. I think the challenges are definitely the vision and the mobility. He can see to his right for a 45-degree angle. He doesn't see out of the left eye, but it changes. So what he might be able to see one day, he might not be able to see the next. It could change from moment to moment.
Call Cypress Senior Center. I'm just gonna double check what time we're gonna be there.
I found 7 places. Tap the one you want to call.
Call Ben. Ben, we're on Fruitdale Avenue. Fruitdale Avenue, right by the school.
So what we do in a program like mine is we teach students life skills.
Beep, 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 beep.
Learning how to ride the bus, helping them find employment, everything that has to do with becoming as independent as possible. We do what's called, partial participation. So he tries to do as much as he can on his own, but we do need to step in. So, putting on the glasses. We're helping him with all of those types of things. Okay, that's wrong.
Check email.
You have at least 25 emails.
We are doing your emails first. We're checking to see if there's any new ones.
I need to get a hold of Greg.
Why don't you email me? Hi, Ben. Don't forget we need to get a hold of Greg this week. He likes to do these speeches and presentations all over the community, and he's made all of these contacts. And I would love for him to be able to get to a point where he's really running it himself, and he's able to open an email easily, respond to it, delete the ones he doesn't need anymore.
Hi, Ben. We need to get a hold of Greg.
When he says an email, he needs to just be able to hear that email back to him so that he can edit it.
Here's your message to Ben. Ready to send it?
Yes.
So what we need to do next is we need to decide which slideshow you want to do. for when you go over to the senior center, right?
Yeah.
So come on over to the computer. And all I want to do right now is practice two things. One, can you go backwards and forwards on the slide?
Yeah.
Two, can you listen to the slide and talk about it without just repeating what was said? Okay, here you are. He uses remote controls to operate his PowerPoint presentations, and we adapt those by adding raised stickers so he knows like the hard one is forward, the soft one's backwards.
People can walk, but I'm in a wheelchair.
Right. Can you share with me some other things that you remember about what CP is?
People with CP need the support,
With
help with everything in the daily life.
well, with movement, right?
With movement.
Right. Good. Okay, you're gonna do awesome. What we'll do is when we get there, we're gonna set up your wireless mic, and you're gonna be the star of the show.
Hello everybody, today we have a special presentation. We have Daniel Stickney, and he's going to be doing a presentation on wheelchair awareness. So if everybody can welcome Daniel. Let's give him a hand of applause.
Alright. Can everybody hear me?
Daniel, you're gonna hold this with your hand and rock with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and all ages, today I'm going to talk about wheelchairs. My body does not function like you can with your body, and you can use my feet. The wheelchair is my feet, ladies and gentlemen. The wheelchair gets me around where I want to go from point A to point B. Okay, we're getting off, guys.
So how Daniel sees is it's a sliver out of his right eye. And it's like light on, light off, light on, light off, light on, light off. Can see you, he can't, see you, he can't, see you, he can't.
You hear the bird thing? The sound of it sounds like a bird chirping. You're about to, no. You're about to go way off.
And so often, if objects aren't color-coded, or there's not someone around to say, hey, look out for the curb, Daniel will easily go through the curb.
We'll usually be like walking around shopping or something like that. If I'm alone, with Danny, and I don't really have any initiative of what to do, so I usually have to ask him.
Hello, can I have a Coke? Make it 3. It's my dream.
And technically, I guess you have less options, but at the same time, like, I don't really feel, honestly, like there is much of a difference when hanging out with Danny.
Because he is cortically visually impaired and is legally blind, he has to take everything at face value.
And the receipt? Yes, please, ma'am.
Making just a simple transaction's an art form.
Damn thing, can you help me?
Yes, I can.
All right, buddy. Wow, Daniel.
We're both busy, so we don't get a lot of time to hang out.
But do you text and email and talk?
But we talk. He calls me at least 5 times a day, if not more, in a row.
Right now, we're concentrating on what Daniel can do with technology. We're at a perfect time, at a perfect moment, in a very imperfect world. So as technology unfolds, it's amazing to what doors are opening to Daniel that were just closed a few years ago.
Okay.
Need to go to that.
Hold on.
I mean, the truth is, Danny can't do a lot of things.
Need to go to the bathroom.
I mean, when you think about it, Danny's completely dependent on someone for 99.9% of everything.
I gotta go.
From using the restroom, to eating, to bathing, to clothing. And so that's what makes it so important, those few things that Danny can do.
Today was a really wonderful day. I had a fun time spending time with my friends. I went on the bus today, bus 57. I got to spend time with Patrick Collins today. I gave the presentation. I spoke about wheelchair awareness and my cerebral palsy. Don't limit yourself just because you have a disability. It was really a fun and rewarding experience. I'm so thankful. I lost my train of thought.